Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Is abstract painting more than just accidental paint splatter? Most people haven't got a clue. So what is it, this abstract painting? And can you paint an abstract painting without knowing the answer? In my view, you can't. It's a personal thing, and abstract painting has various meaning. And the important question really is, what is it to you? For the last couple of weeks, I've been working on a painting that some of you might recognize from the background of my earlier videos. In this video, I will finish the painting and then I will talk about what I mean when I say that this work is an abstract painting. My name is Henrik Skora. Let's get started. For more than 100 years, very wise people have shared their opinions upon abstract painting. Not always in a positive way. And this has been going on since Kandinsky, Picasso, Braque, and several other artists at the start of the last century started to paint paintings with no recognizable motive. Abstract painting allows you to express yourself without the limitations of realism. Your painting doesn't have to look like anything you already know. Some people believe that it's easy to paint abstract paintings. And they could say something like, this painting could be done by my 5-year-old daughter or something like that. But it couldn't. It's not as easy as it seems. In principle, everything I do will be in 2 dimensions and the image will be flat. Reality, on the other hand, has 3 dimensions, and furthermore, it smells, it moves, it has sounds, it's alive. And I can't include that in a painting, so no matter what I paint, it will end up being some kind of abstraction one way or another. I might be able to create an illusion of something with a close resemblance to a known object. And when this illusion seems close to reality, it's because our brains are able to translate the flat image. It recognizes something and then it fills in the blanks. So that we can say, oh, that painting is spot on. It is my mother, or whatever you have painted. But it's not. It's an image of your mother, and your brain is making an abstraction. Today, the word abstract is often used to describe paintings that our brain cannot immediately recognize. And when this happens, it's unable to fill in the blanks. Then our brain will look for known patterns. And if it doesn't find any, it will look for anything it can use. And in this search, it will be very open for other opportunities. This is why an abstract painting occasionally can give us all kind of experiences and emotion of a non-visual kind. At least, that's my way of understanding what abstract painting is. And slightly simplified, when I paint an abstract painting, part of the picture is inspired by experiences from outside my head, and part of the picture is inspired by experiences I have inside my head. The balance between outside and inside my head varies, and the more non-figurative and you could say the more abstract it is, the more inspiration I get from inside my head. I know when I tell you this, many people will disagree with me, but I find it very inspiring to hear other people's point of view on this matter. So please tell me your point of view in the comments below. What are the colors of a kiss or the feeling of hunger? In abstract painting, I get an opportunity to express my interpretation, like I did in this painting. Sometimes starting a painting can be difficult. Here are some general considerations that helps me when I want to get started on an abstract painting. Some people told me that I was supposed to listen to my inner voice, and I really tried to do that. I sat down, I listened, but I heard absolutely nothing. My way forward became to work with my inspiration, and in fact I made a video about that. You can see it here or here, I don't know. But still it can be a little bit hard to start. But remember, starting a painting is not more important than the rest of the process. I got my starting point for this painting by taking a walk. I found this lovely place. I sat down and enjoyed the moment. And then I decided upon the composition. I chose a clear diagonal, which was not actually in my starting motif. It's often something I do to make two ideas clash, and it is very good fuel for inspiration and creativity. Also, the diagonal makes it easier for me to visualize a lapse of time. My starting process is just to start in whatever way you can and then get inspired by what you paint. Then I take this starting experience and pull it through my brain. Ultimately, I paint it with colors and shapes. The only purpose of all that is to get started. And actually, the starting experience isn't that important. It's only, as I said, to get started. And when you think like that, it's much easier to get started. After that, I choose my materials. I choose the size of the canvas, the brushes, and the colors. I use acrylic paint, but of course you can use whatever you have. If you prefer oil or pastels or watercolor, whatever you choose will be fine. After that, I put the canvas on an easel and I loosely sketch my starting motif. If I haven't got a starting motif, I just paint whatever comes into my mind. And when the brush touches the canvas, as I get into the process, the painting can change direction several times. I try to follow whatever the brush is doing, and what comes out on the canvas will inspire me to new ideas on how to get to the next level of the painting. I experiment a lot in the early steps of the painting. Sometimes I make big adjustments and change it all. And in these cautious steps, the titanium white is my friend. In order to achieve a variated expression in this painting, I combine a freehand painting technique with a technique where I support my hand against a ruler. In this way, the painting becomes more alive. At this point in the painting process, I try to figure out which direction the painting wants to go. And now I feel fully detached from my initial experience that I used to start the painting. The brushstrokes that emerge on the canvas inspire me to go further down one path or another. Whether I'm actually choosing the right path is hard to say while I'm in the process. But when I stop being a painter for a short while and become an observer, I can see if it's okay or not, and if it is bringing the painting forward. Although the overall impression of the painting is the most important, I also focus on making the many details of the painting fit together. It's a balance between creating a lot of contrasts and at the same time making the contrasts contribute to the entire composition. My use of contrasts is based on how I want the viewer's eyes to move around on the canvas. I added a horizon in the upper third part to create depth and to get a back and a front in the painting. I use the warm muted orange color to contrast the colder blue colors and the many lines in the painting to highlight what has become the center of the painting. That's what I'm working on here. The process goes on and on. It's a fascinating feeling. And then suddenly, bang, stop, nothing more to do. The painting is now close to be finished. And now I refine it. I nurse the details. I look for contrasts. I try out smaller changes in the color combination. I use straight lines drawn with a ruler and also freehand lines, warm and cold colors, adding details to support the painting to create depth, tension and focus in my painting, and I keep on doing this until I can't no longer add anything good to the painting. I really love this part of the process. The painting is close to finish, the risk of spoiling it is low. I'm relaxed and I work completely on my intuition. It's the time for the very small details, and it's like having a fish on the hook that fights to get free, but which I slowly pull in a little by little. I use this magic dust, which actually is cadmium orange, to lighten up the darker parts of the painting. And then I really can't think of anything more to do to make the painting better. So it's finished, at least for now. Then I darken the white edges on the canvas and mount a string on the back side so that you can hang the painting on a wall. And then, of course, I sign it. I do this on the back side because I don't want to disturb the painting. And this painting, as you can see, I have given it the title Pause. I got that from the starting experience. Remember the bench? I sat down and enjoyed the moment. And then I lay down the brush, put the painting in a frame and hang it on my wall. And I look at it for days. My paintings can be totally non-figurative with nothing recognizable, or it can be semi-abstract with tracks of recognizable elements. Abstract painting is a lot about developing a mindset and what happens in your head from painting to painting. You must always trust your feelings and that your opinion is just as interesting as anybody else's. It's not what you tell, it's how you tell it. I am constantly working to develop my own way of working, my style. And I'm very much aware that I don't want to paint like anybody else. Hopefully, this video will inspire you to develop your own style and your way of working with abstract painting. If you like the video, I hope you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.